All right. So there's this tiny little game that's coming out called Stellar Blade, right? I think we've all heard of it. All heard of the controversy involving this character, right? Now, we know that apparently women are going to be expiring from existence because of this fictional character existing. We know that, we've seen it, we've read it all, we've heard about it. You know, they're up in arms, games journalists are up in arms, right? Because of the existence of attractive women. Apparently, there's a lot of people out there that think that this looks like a child. I mean, if you look at a grown woman, right, and say that looks like an infant, you got problems, right? Now, I have a strict rule when it comes to guest characters in fighting games. I don't like guest characters in fighting games in general, most of the time because they don't fit, most of the time because it takes up a slot from a character that should have been from that game's own universe. But I'd like to be the first. I'm going to take that principle, I'm going to crunch it up, I'm going to throw it out. Because this chick needs to be in every single fighting game. In fact, we need to get every single fighting game that's ever been created. We need to just decompile it, deconstruct it, put this chick in, then repackage it and put it back out there. Every game. I mean Weapon Lord, I mean Eternal Champions, I mean the original Mortal Kombat that came out in the arcade. I don't give a shit. We need to put this chick in every single fighting game. Boy, oh boy, there's not a box of tissues big enough for the existence of this woman. Both for those that are crying and those that are, you know what I'm saying, right? It is perfectly obvious, right? And I actually did a video on this channel, you can go check it out, right? How we are biblically, actually, like from the creation of God himself, supposed to admire and adore the female body. But not in some man-whore way, right? Not in some I was going to say only pros way, but OnlyFans way, right? No, we are meant to adore this woman as if, like, you know, like you would your own woman, right? Like, so you got your woman, you adore her and she adores you, back and forth. You know what I'm saying, right? There's a reason visually and spiritually and bonerally why we find this stuff attractive. And not just that, but also women love to play as these characters too, because they want to run around as a sexy, you know, hot, you know, attractive female that's kicking ass and stuff, but is also feminine. I don't think it's so much just the body that's the issue here. I think it's the femininity that is really driving the blue-haired land whales to the brink of going, oh my god, that's it, I'm gonna eat the fifth donut. I'm gonna eat the fifth donut. If they don't remove this game off the internet, I'm gonna just go down. I'm gonna just like deep throat the entire pastry shelf down at the shop. You know that's what they're thinking, right? You know that's what they're thinking. Eve, which is appropriately named from biblical scripture, I think, right? I think that she should be in Tekken, right? She should be a guest character in Grand Blue Fantasy versus Rising. Now, Eve, the character now she's a cultural phenomenon, right? Because of various assets that she has, right? And it's so funny because women out there, like, they get really sort of funny. I don't want you staring at hot chicks. Like, listen, I'm not talking about staring at real chicks on the street. You shouldn't do that. You got a woman, right? You shouldn't do that, right? But in a video game, it's different, right? In a video game, it is different for the very reason that they've got, like, the dudes that all can buff and chat and stuff in the game, right? That can be there for the visual eye candy for the ladies, right? But it's the femininity that I think that drives them crazy the most. Because not only are these chicks hot, right? And when Western media has been doing this for a while, where it's like, well, if we're gonna have an attractive chick in there, she's gotta be I don't need no man type of chick. Now, obviously the character of Eve, like 2B and like Tifa, We now have the trilogy of just incredible women in video games for women, to a degree, to aspire to be, right? Now, I'm not saying every single woman out there has to be looking like this. I'm not saying that at all. But it's who they are as the character is portrayed, right? Their personality, the way that they deal with things, right? They're not running around going, you know, like, what's that big bitch out of Uncharted, not Uncharted, Last of Us 2? What was that big chick's name? Right, all muscles and stuff that played golf with Joel's head, right? You know, we don't want that. That's disgusting, right? Maybe a few men out there like their bitches muscly, but most men don't, right? And we don't also require them to look like, you know, a paddle pop stick either, right? But something that's very sexy about a woman is her confidence, right? Now, she may not look like this, but if she's got the confidence, right, to go, you know what? I don't need to be admired by every man, as long as my man, I'm just saying if I was the chick, right? If their man is smitten with them, then they don't care, right? I'm sure every man out there on the planet, right, is gonna find out what premature ejaculation is if their girlfriend walked out wearing this sort of outfit. You know that's true, right? You know that's true. The same reason that if they walked out with 2B, the same reason if they walked out with an outfit of Tifa. You just, listen, you just can't help it. You just can't help it, right? What's done? Oh, sorry, love. You know, it's really your fault. And that's the reality of it, right? Is that men, like, yes, we are drawn to attractive females, right? But there's obviously more to it than that. There's more to it than just the visuals of it, yeah? But you don't have to look like this to be sexy. Sexy is up here, right? If you're confident that you're enough for your man, right, then it shouldn't matter and you shouldn't feel threatened by fictional pixels, okay? This is just, this is just a power fantasy, right? It's a power fantasy for men. It's a power fantasy for women, right? This is the reason why, like, Lara Croft kicked off. Lara Croft wasn't running around going, I don't need no man, unshaved underarms and shit. No, because she was sexy. She was able to take care of herself, but she was still feminine. And femininity here is the absolute key. It's not the body. It's the femininity is the key. You can have some real big women out there, right? They're very feminine, right? Not everyone is going to fit into the same box. Well, don't say that, Fate. Don't say that, Fate. Don't say it. Right? Not everyone has to look like this, right? But women out there, if your man loves you, right, and you got a few extra pounds on, and you walk, like, listen, man, listen. And it's true, right? Because I already covered this in the video as well, right? You take your shit off, it's over. You win the argument. If you're having a brawl, you win the argument. He'll just stop dead in his... Right, that's how it works. It's supposed to work like that, right? The reason why this bugs women so much, like the feminist bluehead land whales and stuff, right, is because they have been indoctrinated and lied to about what being a woman is. They have been told that being feminine and wanting to be with a man and take care of the man and stuff like that is this terrible thing, and it's not. It is not. Women that stay at home and raise their kids, right, it's one of the hardest jobs you can do. But also, it is one of the most satisfying. You are literally you are literally taking creation and molding it for the world. You're taking God's gift and molding it for the world, right? And over time, women have been like there's been vested interests that have been trying to convince and obviously succeeded with some women about, you don't need no man, all you need to do is work, don't worry about kids, expire your kids too, just go down to the clinic and do that as well, right? All of that is so anti-woman, right? You don't have to look like Eve or 2B or Tifa, men, and I mean this sincerely, right? You could look like this, but eventually, right, like you could have the hottest chick in the world, right? And when she talks, it's like putting metal into a blender, right? Instant turn off. It doesn't matter how hot she is, right? Maybe a couple of bits of masking tape over her mouth to shut her up while you're, you know, I'm just joking, by the way. But seriously, what really matters to dudes, right? Once you get over the body part, like, you know, depending on what you're what you find attractive, some dudes like big fat booty, right? Some dudes like little titties. I'm a handful man myself, right? And, you know, more than a handful's too much. It's a waste, right? That's just how I roll, okay? You can still get cleavage though. You know, it's still advertising, right? But, you know, everyone has their preference for a reason, right? I'm really exposing myself here. Everyone has a preference for a reason. However, right? However, at the end of the day, once you get past that physical initial, whoo, you know, if there's no personality there, if there's no femininity there, if there is no being on the same page there, it doesn't matter, right? We don't need to have a chick with a PhD. We don't need to have a chick that's like this highly intelligent being, even though they are, right? We want to feel like we're on the same page. We want to feel like we connect both spiritually, sexually, you know, just morally, everything like that. All of that stuff needs to connect. And the femininity, the softness, the taking care of, that is what men crave more than anything. Someone to come up and give you those cuddles and kisses and go, oh, I love you, baby. I'm going to suck your dick now. Right? That's what we want. You know it's true. You can hate me all you like, but you know it's damn well true, right? Everyone wants somebody like that just adores them. Men want to have a chick that is soft and feminine, doesn't matter what size, and adores them, and also takes care of themselves. And that doesn't have to be physical. Like, you don't have to be some gym tard, right? Oh, I go to the gym, aren't I? Fucking awesome. I get people in my comments all the time, right? Oh, go to the gym, bro. What for? What am I going to lift? I know how to lift my dick, right? So outside of lifting my dick, what do I need giant muscles for, huh? Right? Tell me I'm wrong. Oh, so you look good. Look good for what? Other men at the gym? Sorry, listen, man, that's your wheelhouse, not mine. You know what I'm saying? Right? So femininity, I think, is the actual driving issue here when it comes to Eve and Stellar Blade. It was the issue with 2B, and it's the issue with Tifa. The initial attraction of, like, you know, like, that's it, man. Get me the tissues, right? Once that passes, right, and you start playing as these characters and they're like a real bitch, you know, and they treat men like shit, it doesn't matter how hot they are. Eventually you just be like, nah, just fuck off, right? It's the femininity that's the key here, right? Size doesn't matter. Femininity does. That warmth, that women can only give. That's what men really crave, right? And if you don't have that as a man, it's awful. You're just looking at something that looks hot, but outside of that, it's got the, you know, the brain capacity of a petri dish. And I think that's ultimately the main reason why a lot of these people are getting upset, right? I think the surface level is the attractive stuff, but it's deeper than that. And I think whether they believe it or not, whether they've realized they've been conned or not, but they've just committed to the cause and they can't back out, otherwise they look foolish. Listen, it's okay to admit you're wrong. It's okay to say, listen, I got conned by whoever, you know, into thinking this is the way it is. It's not. You ever seen people that, you know, like have gone down these social justice warrior routes and then they turn it around, right? And they look happier, healthier. You know, it doesn't matter whether they're fit or not. They just have turned it around. And that's because they have embraced the way that God has intended them to be, right? Now, you can work, that's fine. You can stay at home, be a mum, that's fine. But don't buy into this bullshit. And there is a reason why there's a limited time clock when it comes to women and their reproductive sort of, you know, period. There's only a small window there, and that's that way for a reason, right? It's that way for a reason, because once you lose that, once you miss out, you can't undo time, right? And there's been, as I said, vested interest to try and take that away from women, and has succeeded to some degree. So when you look at women like this, right, your instincts as a man go, just grab that fucking hair, man. Right? That's what you want to do. But a true man wants to do that with one woman, and he wants to do that with them for the rest of their life. Right? Don't be some man whore, right? This isn't Deuce Bigelow, right? You want to do that with one woman for the rest of your life. God bless Eve, Tifa, and 2B. We now have the Holy Trinity. Catch you next time.